water or landscape brush. Okay, so what I'm going to do to start with while my canvas is dry, because the whole reason why we wanted to wait a day to come back to this is so that it was dry. And what I'm going to do is pick out what fish I want to do. So an easy way to do this, so that you don't have to worry about drawing it on yourself, and I call it using your resources, not cheating, is you just take and put a little graphite on the back of the picture. That way you can transfer it over. So what I'm going to do is choose some of these fish, and then I'm just going to do the background of the paper and then transfer them on there. So here I go with, let's go ahead and do let's do the sailfish and the marlin. So I'm going to just go ahead and trace, a heavy layer of graphite on the back of where I have my fish. So where the fish are in the front, that's where I am putting down graphite in the back. And you want to do quite a bit. Don't spend all day though. I mean, you don't need to do that. So I can kind of hold it up to the light. I could tell right there. We're perfect. So in the water now, I could just figure out where I want my fish. And then I'm going to go ahead and trace that down very simply. A couple of things that this is going to do, and this is going to help me make sure that I'm keeping the size and the proportions of the fish the same. Yeah, I could free draw this, but it is so much easier to do this. And then it just transfers that fish onto my paper. You can kind of see that there. So now I know exactly where I need to paint to get the details. You want to do probably several fish, and I'm going to have these going in the same direction, but that might be kind of boring, so I might now flip my hammerhead shark around. So that's what I'll do. I'm going to finish drawing in my black marlin. And then I've got this hammerhead shark. Now, another kind of trick that you can do if you want to stay with the kind of the using your resources method is you can trace out the fish. So I'm going to go ahead and trace out the fish. And that gives it a layer of graphite. So now, to flip it so that the fish is going in the other direction, I can go ahead and figure out where that is on my picture and just rub back and forth. And that gives me a nice little outline of my hammerhead shark. So now I can see that. Okay? Like I said, it's not cheating, it's using your research. So now I'm going to go ahead and start getting my paints ready. Okay, so first of all, we're going to look at the color wheel. This is a pretty different color wheel from what we're used to, but as you're looking down into the color wheel, you'll see shades. Those are colors that we get by adding black. And now when we're looking at the outer edge of the color wheel, those are tints. Those are colors that we're going to get by adding white. Now if you look at the color wheel, we've got our basic primary colors. We've got blue, we've got red in number 7, and then we have yellow towards the top. If you look at it like a puzzle, you're going to mix those primary colors to get all your secondary colors. The only difference is now you've got tints and shades. So a quick rule of thumb as you're painting through. So now as you're getting ready to start painting, a couple of things that you're going to want to think about is, how do I make these colors? Well, let's look at orange, for example. If you want to make orange, you're going to look at the colors that you have that are on the color wheel that are next to orange, red, and yellow. Lastly, tints and shades. You always want to mix the darker color into the lighter color. So if you want to make pink, start with white, add red. If you want to make dark red, start with red, add black. So now I'm looking at my fish and I can see some of the colors that are on my fish. I'm noticing that the sailfish that I have chosen to do is a lot of bit of blue in it. And then my hammerhead shark has a lot of gray in it. So I'm going to show you how to mix some of those colors and we're going to go ahead and get started painting. Okay, so I'm ready to start mixing up some colors. Now, I already laid out some colors from earlier today. So blue is a color I don't have right now, so I'm going to go ahead and blob down a little of that, and believe me, a little goes a long way, so go sparingly with that. And then I'm back to my number 12 brush and my number 1 brush. And I've got a bucket of water just nearby me here so that I can rinse off my brushes every time I need to do that. A little bit of water goes a long way, so you don't want to soak the brushes too much. So I have on my screen my picture of my fish so that I can see those. So those are kind of handy for me. And I'm going to go ahead and start painting. I love the detail brush. The detail brush is one of my favorite things to work with. Now, again, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today is just if I want to make a color lighter, start with the lighter color, mix in the darker color into the lighter color. So I'm trying to get this lighter blue color that's on my sailfish, and I'm just basically starting with the white and adding the blue into it. So you can kind of see that I'm looking at my my fish now up on the screen, so you can kind of see me poking my head back and forth here. Another color that we talk about a little bit is gray. My hammerhead shark down here is going to be gray mostly. So we're going to start with white and add a little bit of black into that. You never want to go the other way around. You're going to be just wasting a lot of time and a lot of paint. So just a bit of black into the white. The white changes very quickly, so you don't have to do it the other way around. And basically right now, just like we did earlier with painting the background first, I'm just laying out the colors so that's giving me a base to work from here. And then I can start adding details. So I basically just have outlines of these fish, although with this one I'm you're kind of starting to see some gradation there with my sailfish. Now I can go ahead and start adding details. I always say black last because black is a very powerful color. Black will overwhelm things, and it should be the last little bit of detail that you're doing. So right now I'm actually ready to start some of the black that's on my sailfish. So I'm going to go in and just kind of outline some of the spots that I'm seeing. I have a friend who paints professional portraits, and the number 1 brush, a lot of painters don't really like the number 1 brush because they feel like it weighs them down. It's just too detailed. But she loves a number 1 brush. She has a couple of brushes in her collection that just have single hairs in them, so she just draws these amazing details. It's fantastic, some of the things that she comes up with because of that type of a brush that she does. So that's what you're going for. You're going for some more details. Take your time, get some of this stuff in there. Just really look at the picture. The biggest tip that I can give you as drawers, as artists, as painters, you want it to look exactly like the picture. We were going for a realistic picture here, but just keep in mind that the best way to do this, the absolute best way to do this, is to look. I can tell you all day how to apply paint to the canvas, but you have to be able to see the fish. So you really have to look at the picture that you're trying to make, and then what's different? How did I do it differently? What do I need to do to make it look more like this picture? And if you do that, you will always have success. So keep painting and let me know how you're doing. Thank you. Have a good night.